Alex? Alex? Alex?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're learning as much about Anaheim as I have these past few weeks. To be honest, when I first got this assignment, I wasn't too excited about all this work. But I love the way I learned about the place I call home. We've spent the last few episodes hanging out back in my room, just watching videos on the internet. But I think the best way to learn about how Anaheim has changed is by actually getting out there and seeing it firsthand. Welcome to my city. This is City Hall. This is where city council members meet along with the mayor and other local government officials. Anaheim citizens vote to elect 4 city council members and 1 mayor. The city council votes on how money is spent and on laws that make the city a better place to live. Just across Anaheim Boulevard, that 11-story building is known as City Hall West, which is home to Anaheim Public Utilities, as well as other city departments. Next spot. This is Los Angeles Boulevard and Center Street. Right now, I'm standing at what used to be the very center of Anaheim, when it was established in 1857. Anaheim Boulevard used to be known as Los Angeles Street. Across the street, we see this building, known as the Kraemer Building. It was built in 1924 by Samuel Kraemer, and was the first high-rise building in Orange County. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1983. When it was first built, a bank was on the first floor. Doctors' and lawyers' offices were on the upper floors. Now it's mostly used for apartments. This is the Carnegie Building. Anaheim had this building as their library in 1907. It was designed by John C. Austin, who also designed the Griffith Park Observatory up in Los Angeles. Its mission-style influenced architecture is prominent with its red tile roof and beige bricks. This served as the library until 1963 and was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1979. It is now the Anaheim Museum, or Museo. This is the North Gate marker. This marks the place where the willow pole fence had its northern gate, aka Los Angeles Gate. It's kind of a dangerous spot to get a good look at, but it's still cool to think that 150 years ago, this is the passage between a vast desert and a growing wine colony. This is San Pedro Gate Park. Check out this willow pole fence replica. This represents the actual willow pole fence that surrounded Anaheim and lined the irrigation ditch. This is the WoelkerStoffel House. This house was built in 1894 during Anaheim's citrus era. It was built for retired Chicago restaurant owner John Wilke and originally located on 520 West Center Street, now Lincoln Avenue. Later, it was purchased by Peter Stoffel Jr. in 1907. Then, in 1949, it was purchased for only $5,000 by John and Lara Mae Dwyer, and it was moved to its current location, right here, next to the Mother Colony House in Founders Park. Behind me is a Morton Bay Fig Tree. This tree is actually from Australia, and is over 100 years old. It was imported by Anaheim's first nurseryman, Timothy Carroll, and planted by the Horstman family prior to 1876. This tree was actually the inspiration for the original Swiss Family Robinson treehouse at Disneyland, which is now Tarzan's treehouse. I kinda want to climb it. This is Modjeska Statue. Madame Helena Modjeska was a famed Shakespearean actress from Poland. Here, she is dressed as Mary, Queen of Scots, from her favorite stage role. This is the orange grove off Santa Ana Street. This is the last remaining orange grove in Anaheim. Just think of how the city must have looked 100 years ago, with orange groves covering a huge area of Anaheim. Here we are at the happiest place on earth. This is probably the most famous landmark of Anaheim. In 1954, Walt Disney announced his plan to build an amusement park like no other on 160 acres of land that was once orange groves. It was a struggle to open the park on time, but on July 17, 1955, Disneyland opened, and for over 55 years has brought people from all over the world to Anaheim. This is St. Michael's off South Street. This was the first church in Anaheim. It was built at its original location off Emily and Adele in 1876, but was later moved in 1955 to its current location at 311 West South Street. This is the Anaheim Cemetery. Opened in 1866, it is the oldest public cemetery in Orange County. Many of the original settlers and their families are buried here. Some tombstones are even in German. This is Boysen Park. Named after Rudy Boysen, the creator of the Boysen Berry, this 24.6-acre park is recognizable by the permanently grounded U.S. Navy Cougar jet airplane circa 1954 behind me, as well as Anaheim's tennis center. Here we are at the Anaheim Coves Trail. This 1.5-mile multi-use trail and nature reserve represents the importance of water in the Santa Ana River to the city of Anaheim. Along the trail, you can see the Burris Basin and native plants and animals. Also, there are lots of cool signs explaining different things about the history of Anaheim. Here we are at Angel Stadium. In the 1960s, a country western musician and baseball team owner named Gene Autry wanted to build a new stadium for his California Angels baseball team. Rex Coons, the mayor of Anaheim at the time, was also a baseball fanatic and convinced other city leaders to build a stadium so the Angels could play there. In 1966, the California Angels began playing on opening day of the season. The big A on the side of the freeway used to actually be a scoreboard that was inside the stadium. Then, in 1978, the Los Angeles Rams football team decided to move in as well, but they needed more seats, so the A was moved to its current location in the parking lot, and the stadium was modified to accommodate a football team. Eventually, the Rams moved to St. Louis, and the stadium was remodeled back to a baseball-only field when the Walt Disney Company purchased it in 1994. Just across from Angel Stadium is where the Anaheim Ducks play hockey. The Anaheim Arena was built in 1990 and originally named the Arrowhead Pond. In 2006, the pond was renamed to the Honda Center, but still hosts games for the Ducks as well as music concerts. This is the Santa Ana River. This is pretty much the reason Anaheim is here. There's even some water left in it. But all this scooting around town has worn me out, and I barely scratched the surface of all the cool historical places of Anaheim. It's getting late, so I'm going to have to get back home and finish up my assignment. Thanks for hanging out with me. You guys are the best audience ever. See you around town. Alex over and out.